Hi, I want to speak with you today about four scenes for change. I'm just going to give you a little story, a picture about what change might look like. And I'm going to give it to you in four scenes. However, this can happen over an extended period of time, sometimes quickly, but often slowly. When we go slow, change is definitely much more permanent or transformational. So I'm Prajna, and this is my channel. If you like my messages and my meditations, please subscribe. Thank you. So let's just start out with a good deep breath. Just shake it off if you've been busy all day. The sun is beginning to set here in California, and I've had a full on day, but I'm trying to come live as much as I can, live or at least upload a video. So I appreciate the different comments on the videos that get posted because it gives me, a little bit of a sense of where you're at and what you might want to hear. So when I speak about things, I'm giving kind of a point of view from the way that I feel inspired in the moment. So there are many ways in which change and transformation happen. So let's just settle into the body because change, we can change our mind over and over again, but it doesn't mean that we're going to resolve what we talk about as the issues in our tissues, like where our life is stored, like where our habit body learns to navigate life. So we want to settle into our bodies, breathe into the body, take up space in you, remembering to breathe in that space behind the heart, which is a space that often gets looked over. And it's that place where we can hold a lot, or we can take something in and not let it flow through us. So breathe down into the torso, deep down in the belly. Feel your feet on the ground. Get comfortable in your seat and let yourself be in a posture of receptivity so you can reflect on anything at all while listening inside of your body to see how something lands, what is touched, if there's a sensation or an emotion or any kind of feeling that comes. So whenever that happens, let that happen. This is all really good information. So settle in your seat. Imagine that there's a root at the base of your body that connects you to the ground, to the fertile ground of Mother Earth, giving thanks for her holding, for her fertile soil, for all that she does, for the land that you're on, for the people that have come before us. And just as a side, today is the last day of November, so it's National Caregivers Month. November is. So I want to just give a little shout out and a bow down to all caregivers, for the great invisible work that takes place and it really is the fabric of our universe. The mothers, the fathers, those who wake up sometimes repeatedly in the middle of the night to attend to children, do whatever they need to do to get up, whether they're fatigued or weary or bruised to the bone, and still get up and do whatever it takes to feed the children. This is quite remarkable, and it's often something that doesn't get a lot of attention or support. So I want to thank these people, and I happen to be one of them with a very full-on little village here. And I give thanks to all the caregivers that come in and out of this little village because we couldn't do it without. So appreciate the people in your life, but more important than that is that in order for us to caregive, we have to take care of ourselves first. We have to give to us. We have to replenish the well within, find the different things that resource our bodies, our souls, our spirits, that attend to our psychology, that replenish, that nourish, that feed us. And then giving feels very much like receiving, and it doesn't need to wear us down. And of course, at times we do just collapse. And that's okay too. That's information. We learn from that. Yeah. So let me share a story with you in these 4 parts about change. So I remember when I was in graduate school many moons ago, many, many moons ago, I saw a comic, kind of a poster of 4 different scenes of a cartoon characters. And in the first scene, there's a person, let's say a woman, who walks down a street and she falls into a ditch. And she feels at first stuck, like stuck and doesn't know how to get out. And all kinds of emotions happen, but mostly it's a feeling of feeling, burdened, just bound to this, almost a feeling of cement, just really anchored in the ground and not able to get out. So she has to work really hard. First, she sees that, oh, I'm here. I just fell. I'm in a ditch. And then she can begin to climb out and unbury herself or himself. So there's work in that of uncovering like what was not seen prior so that the falling into the ditch happened. So an awareness comes to see like what was I not seeing? What was I not giving attention to that I ended up here? Yeah. And then we recover those parts as we climb out of the ditch. So he or she climbs out of the ditch, brushes herself off, and says, oh, well done, gives great appreciation for doing that, for climbing out. And it's important that I say it that way because otherwise we could beat ourselves up for having a period of being stuck or feeling immobile. You know, just here's another side. I'm going to be all over the place. But I broke my leg last year, and that's an injury that is very visible. But when we have emotional wounding, psychic wounding, psychological wounding, it isn't always visible. Although it may show up in our body psychology and in our habit body and different ways in which we're behaving in life. But it isn't the same as like fracturing a bone, breaking an arm, breaking a leg. But when that happens and it's physical and visible, we naturally attend to that. We might have to get stitches, a cast, a surgery, and then that part isn't really usable for a while because it needs rest. It needs time to heal. So this is the very same thing that has to happen in our internal life, in our psychology, in our emotionality, in our psychic. We need time to rest and recover and attend to those wounds, those fractures that may not be so visible to us. So this is what happens. So maybe falling into the ditch, a breaking, a fracturing of a bone happens, but often what we're speaking about here is more the emotional wounding, whether it be betrayal or be abandoned or some kind of abuse, so many things that happen in the life. So we find out that we've been covered over and stuck. And we just take the courage and be very brave to climb out. So we climb out, and we carry on in life. We just move forward and we take some time to reflect because every time we fall into a ditch, there's great learning from that. This is important because this is how we learn. There are no mistakes, there are no accidents. Everything is information. There isn't any part of us that's flawed. It's all good. It's all good. Every part has value. So we can, you know, kind of milk the situation for what are the jewels in it? What can we learn? So we carry on, and then we come to the next scene. So here she is walking down the street again, and she falls into the same ditch. And she's there in the ditch again, like, what the F? How did I get here again? I just worked so hard. I did all these different therapies. I did all these different motivation courses and self help things. And here I am again in the same ditch. Well, the very first thing is to let that voice, thank you for that voice that judges and criticizes and makes it wrong. And you kind of soften and you be ever so kind, like, yes, here I am again. It's not a mistake. And then she digs herself out, clears the debris, climbs up out of the ditch. And she gets back up to the top. She brushes herself off, takes a shower, a hot bath. She does something much more nourishing to herself. Really feels the time necessary to rest. Like, wow, that was hard work. I'm going to let myself rest. Maybe she or he gives herself a reward, spends time in nature, learns more about what it is that helps her or him to recover, and then moves on, moves on. And in that moving on, it's always different after we climb up out. It's always things appear a little different. Our eyes are more open. Our heart is more open. We've gathered information. We've gathered our bones. We've softened in the heart, because when the heart breaks, there's always heartbreak and falling, and we can listen to that. We can listen, and the more we listen, the more it starts to sound and feel like a song, like a celebration. So then the next time that she's walking and traveling and journeying and taking the next step on this journey we call life, could be years and years, or it could even be a week. And then there she is traveling along and once again falls into the ditch. She's like, oh, I can't believe it. I am here again, doing the same thing over again. How is this even possible? I did such great, deep work. I've meditated for hours. I've seen all of the best teachers. I've listened to all the best videos. I've taken all these great courses. And here I am again in this ditch. What is wrong with me? Right? So the interpretation can be that something is wrong. I've done something wrong. And we can do this kind of self-shaming, this self-critique. So once again, we can hear those voices and we can thank them and say, no, I'm not going to listen. I'm going to drop into my body and I'm going to pay attention to what is underneath those voices. What are they covering? What are the patterns that I keep repeating that bring me to this very same place? And what wounding might they be protecting? And how can I listen to those parts? Whether it's a younger part, 25-year-old, maybe a teenager, maybe a young girl, young boy. How can I really listen deep and hold that part and attend to that part and nourish that part and give it an opportunity in the same way that you would a broken leg or a broken arm. You give him or her time to heal. And then again, The eyes are more open because there's more consciousness, more awareness. The view is wider, mind is more clear, you're more resourced because you took time to reflect about how you got there, what may not have been serving you on your path, what obstacles perhaps presented that you can attend to and let them be removed. So it's like kind of in Zen they talk about polishing the screen, the window, the glass, like how we view. We look at what we might project onto a situation. We look at what we're interpreting, what we're telling ourselves. How are we masking our feelings? Are we going fast? What are we ignoring? What are we not paying attention to? And this is really what meditation is for, self-inquiry, to really look, but in a gentle, kind way, always remembering that all of these parts on the inside that are wounded and often invisible have value and need time and space to heal and to integrate. So she takes whatever time is necessary. It doesn't matter how long, because going slow and taking your time, we learn more. So we really get to complete something. Like now we're in the season of things really shedding and falling away. So we let the shedding continue to happen. We let the leaves fall to the earth. And we offer all that isn't needed as compost to the Great Mother. It's there to strengthen then our roots, our connectivity to the ground beneath us. And we get stronger. So this time, when we climb up out of that ditch, and we just pushing away the debris, thanking it for all that it has offered us, the blood, the sweat, the tears, all of it is welcome, all of it, however long it takes to journey up and out of that ditch. And as come up to the surface, she, he, you, or me, however long it takes, it does not matter. You're up there, then you feel more aligned, more strong, even more courageous, because this time you learned something essential that you missed all of the other times. So there you are up at the top, and you continue on your way with more awareness, with more clarity, emboldened in your heart, stronger in your legs. And you continue on your journey. Continue. And you have a vision. With all that clearing, you've become more attuned to what it is that you actually want. And you have a vision for what that is, and you can see it in the not too far future. And you let yourself feel what it might be to have that, what it feels like in your body, how you're living, what you're doing. And it's almost like you start to even dance a little bit with joy, at the possibility of having what you want. So this time, when you travel on toward this vision, the essential thing that you missed before was that you have choice. That you have choice, that you can actually choose to take a different path, a different road, a different street. You don't have to go down the one where that ditch is just waiting for you, to kind of suck you in like flypaper. You don't have to go that way. So you remember that you can choose a different path, a different way. And you may not know the steps It's only one step at a time. Each step informs the next. And as we stay emboldened and embodied and open in our hearts and expanded in our mind by not interpreting, not drawing conclusions, not believing the little council of apes, like all the different ways that these managers kind of try to protect us from our own self discovery, our own enrichment, our own enlivenment, but yeah, they've done a good job and they're to be honored and they have great value. Yeah. But then what gets to really rise up in you are those places that are tender and innocent and more childlike and wondrous and full of awe for life and very curious and compassionate. And so then we can let these parts come forward and lead the way and lead the way. Yeah. So that's kind of remember those four scenes. And it doesn't mean that this only happens four times. I mean, I have fallen in ditches over and over again or fallen on my face, maybe not a ditch, but I broke my leg and that was a huge, huge learning for me. But we can kind of also get this idea that our choice is between victim and freedom. And sometimes this might be the case. Now I'm going to turn a little more light on. It's getting dark in here, isn't it? Sometimes this might be the case, but often there's some gray area in between that it's all right for us to hang out there. Yeah? And let clarity come. When we let ourselves remain just in the habit body without consciousness, without awareness, without presence, to see the behaviors that have been conditioned into us from family, from culture, from society. So then it's very easy to fall into victim and just claim I'm stuck. That's only happens out of a degree of unconsciousness, of not allowing ourselves to see and feel and meet the protectors, the ones that cover up our authenticity, our playfulness, our curiosity, our genuine desire to be alive and living, that part that aches with longing. Yeah. So you just uncover with great care and compassion. And then we are just in doing that, we are choosing freedom. But it doesn't come all at once. It comes, one step at a time. But it's important, excuse me, to celebrate those little steps. Every step along the way, and imbibing the vision that you have for you. To feel what that feels like, to move towards something, to be called to something, and to respond to that calling. Both are happening. There's a being called that draws you to itself, and then there's the inside calling to the outside. Not really different. And this is what dissolves the sense of being separate, because we're not. And everything that is in our life has value. And of course, there are things that in this, digging ourselves out of a ditch, there are things that, we look at them and we set it aside, no longer need it, shed it, let it fall off, finished, done, compost. And there are other things that we may keep with us because they're teachers that will actually just stay with us naturally. We don't even have to work to hold them. They'll be there as information, as instinct. as intuition. That's what really grows our intuition, which really helps us to settle into our deep knowing. And it's our deep knowing and our instincts and our intuition that is our barometer for then, you know, what's bullshit and what's truth. Yeah. When do I lean left? When do I lean right? When do I just pause? When do I just like dance forward like a wild wolf, moving ahead, never alone, always in this web of interconnectivity with the ground, of all beings. So that's probably long enough. But remember to subscribe if you enjoy these, write comments, and thank you so much for tuning in. Let me know if you have anything that you want to explore. Just explore things in different ways, but we're all in this journey of life together. And as the holidays are approaching and already here, actually, but well, I won't speak of Thanksgiving, the so called holiday of Thanksgiving, because that's a whole nother story. But let me just say that I bow to this land and to the people who have been here before us, to their land. And that's for another time. But, just take super good, hold yourself to things that are nourishing. And when you are take a courageous step forward to something, or to even lift and look under, something that's been covering a part of you. Remember to really appreciate that about you, appreciate that courage, because that will build upon itself and you'll become more and more fortified to keep going. And this is important at this time. So lots of care to you, lots of love. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and see you next